homes and crematoriums can be unsettling, simply because most people want to avoid them. If you go to one, it's because you've lost someone, or you're close to someone who's lost someone. Or even worse, you're the one in the casket. If funeral homes and crematoriums weren't spooky enough on their own, they're also the setting for some truly disturbing and bizarre stories. Don't worry, Mr. Spooky has put the fun back in funerals. Let's get started. In 1996, due to his father getting ill, Tommy Marsh left college to run his family's business, which was a crematorium that his father had built in the backyard of the family home in Noble, Georgia. While Marsh was running the Tri-State Crematorium, thousands of bodies were sent to him to be cremated. In October 2000, the Sheriff's Department got their first report that something unusual may be happening at the crematorium. A gas man notified them to say that he saw bodies lying around the Marsh's property, but the Sheriff's Department never followed up on the tip. 13 months later, the EPA was given an anonymous tip that there were bodies in the woods surrounding the Marsh's property. They supposedly did an investigation, but nothing was found. On February 14, 2002, the police received a call from an anonymous source saying that while walking their dog in the woods, they found a human arm bone. The next day, the police finally went to the crematorium, and on their first day, they found 49 bodies that should have been cremated but weren't. They widened their search, and they found a staggering 334 bodies scattered on and around the Marsh's property. Some of them were up to 5 years old. If the sheer number of bodies wasn't disturbing enough, how the bodies were stored was appalling. Some of the bodies were still in their caskets in some cases. The caskets were stacked on top of each other like cord wood. However, many other bodies weren't in caskets at all. They were just strewn about. Some of them were still dressed in hospital gowns, complete with wristbands. Bodies were found throughout the woods, hidden in nearly every building on the property, and some were just dumped into holes in the ground. Of course, since some bodies had been there 5 years plus, they were in almost all levels of decomposition. For example, in the garage, police found coffins with bodies in them stacked on top of each other. Even more bodies just lying around, with their fluids leaking out onto the ground. As for why he did it, Marsh's lawyer said Marsh had mercury poisoning from the cremation process, and it was like he was living in a fog. The police just think he got too far behind on his work and never really wanted to be a part of the family business. Marsh was hit with 787 felony charges. This included 179 counts of abusing a corpse and 439 counts of theft. Marsh pled guilty and was sentenced to 12 years in prison, February 2004. It also cost the county taxpayers $10 million for cleanup and recovery of the bodies. In total, 133 bodies could not be identified.